Okay, WebRTC by Travon Hamilton. Alright, so starting off, I'd like to just give an introduction on what WebRTC stands for and what it is. WebRTC is actually Web Real-Time Communication. And web real-time communication is essentially a peer-to-peer platform that allows two different or three different, four different users to communicate at one time. They could be communicating via audio message or video message. Um, and they're getting a video picture. The users can access the WebRTC through their web browser, so they don't need to download any software or anything along the lines of that. They can just go to the WebRTC link and then allow the application access to their video and to their microphone and to their camera in order to initiate that. And right here I have a link, one of the first video calls. The actual call happens within the video. The video is a little bit longer, but I put the link in there if you want to go to it and watch some of that video. It gives a good introduction on what WebRTC is as well. But that was published on June 29th, 2012 by Google developers. It was by a couple of engineers that were working on the initial kickoff of WebRTC. Alright, so some of the functions of WebRTC. So it does utilize a few different functions, actually a lot of different functions, probably more than I'll be able to cover here. But some of these functions are media streams. So the first one is media streams. Media streams is essentially it's an interface that allows the WebRTC application and the user's actual browser um, to access the microphone in their camera. Okay, so it does depend on what browser you're using. So there's a couple browsers that are supported by WebRTC right now. A few of them off the top of my head are Mozilla, and I know Google Chrome for sure. I don't think Internet Explorer offers it. Okay, so that's what the media streams do there. They're that interface that provides that cross-platform. And then within the media streams, we have the function get user media is what it's called. So this is another interface here, and it's like the bridge that allows media stream to interface with the browser using no plugins. So that's one of the big things about WebRTC is that you can run it without running any extra plugins or anything like that, which is going to expose you to some more security risk and vulnerabilities just by taking you through more processes, and it's nice to be able to eliminate that by eliminating steps. Alright, so then another function of WebRTC is that it is a peer connection platform. Okay, so that peer connection platform is nice because it's peer-to-peer. There's no middleman in between there. You're talking to the person that you're expecting to be talking to, as long as you confirm. So that's a very nice thing to have, and it's quick. In order to start a peer connection, the user needs a local session description. And that will help to describe the configuration for the local side properties that the user is going to have. The local session description is going to help to describe those local properties. And then we have our data channels, which are also embedded in some of the functions of WebRTC. And so our data channels are the peer-to-peer exchange of the obituary application data that's going on. The obituary application data, that's just obituary is just any data, the exchange of any data in any format in this sense. Alright, so getting into some of the main parts of the JavaScript or of WebRTC, excuse me. The first one I'd like to start with is JSEP. So JSEP is the JavaScript session establishment protocol. So this is one of the protocols that's utilized within WebRTC as it's getting the communication session established between the two users. So the JSEP allows for higher powered and increasingly complex applications to be utilized within WebRTC. All right, so the more stuff that comes out, the more technology that we're gaining, the more that we're learning, the more that we're developing. So the more power we're going to use, the more resources we're going to require, all right, the more hands-on we're going to need, which is a good thing because that leaves room for growth and it also leaves room for improvement. We need growth, we need improvement, we also need change. So having those things involved with the WebRTC is going to help it continue to evolve. Another part of it is the topologies. So WebRTC platform uses multiple independent peer connections. These peer connections can send and receive information from different media sources, independent media sources. All right, so you can see there in quotes, this flexibility increases the security of the platform. It allows it to continue to stay dynamic and not static. All right, I like that because the platform is able to adapt. Right, there's coders, there's designers that design the WebRTC platform in mind with the idea of being able to adapt and change as evolution continues to happen here. Okay, and then another part here we have ICE. So ICE is the Interactive Connective Establishment. ICE utilizes specific standards to establish the peer-to-peer connections. Again, a nice procedure that we follow, that is followed, that WebRTC follows in order to give you a secure feeling and sense when you're using it. All right, so ICE has two endpoints of the connection that should be able to be utilized and execute the offer answer protocol, which I'll cover, I think, in the next slide or two. You can see that that's for SDP exchanges. All right, so stun is Sessions Traversal Utilities for NAT, which is our network address translator here. So it's used as an endpoint for determining the correct IP addresses, which is important because we want to make sure that we're connecting and getting signals to the right places and from the right places, and that the port and ports designated to it by the NAT. All right, and then our turn, that's the traversal using relays around NAT. All right, so the turn function, or the main part, sorry, allows a host behind the NAT to request that another host acts as a relay. Okay, so when this exchanging of packets takes place with another host, we like to use a technique that's called hole punching. All right, and the hole punching helps to discover new paths for relayed packets by punching holes through the NAT devices. So it's a way to exchange those packets, all right, in a quick and efficient manner, all right, by punching those holes in those network devices. Okay, so quick overview of the user session initiation. So when a user starts streaming connection, they're spawning the RTC peer connection object that is initiated by their web browser of their choice. Okay, once an object is spawned and created, it contains a self-generated SDP description, the session description protocol. All right, the SDP description exchanges with the other peer user. Subsequently, the other peer user will exchange their own SDP description with the person initiating the contact. So the first action by the initiating user is termed the offer. All right, and then the other participating user's response is going to be coined the answer. Okay, so that's the offer answer model analysis that I touched on earlier concerning the SDP protocols. All right, so once connected, the users can engage in that high definition video call or audio calls. Again, they're pretty efficient. They're nice having. They're nice being able to use. So some security concerns and just topics, features that I'm going to touch on. So WebRTC has many security functions and features that are embedded within, but what I learned is that a lot of the features and functions that are installed rely on the user, okay, and the user's engagement and how active they are with using the application, okay, and updating their own browser. All right, so they designed it and they coded it with that thought in mind, that the user is going to be a responsible user and do their due diligence in updating their systems. Okay, so since WebRTC is web-based with no plugins, many security features are dependent upon the user's chosen browser and engagement in the browser. Alright, when a user's web browser publishes a security patch or an upgrade, the WebRTC upgrades accordingly with the browser. Okay, so but if that user forgets or neglects to update that browser, then the WebRTC stays neglected and unupdated. Alright, and is now open and vulnerable to what we don't want. So some specific flaws that I touched on, a few of them here that are embedded in the WebRTC. The first one that I noticed that I thought was pretty concerning is the IP vulnerability here. So there is a weakness in the ICE protocol, all right, when going through that initial connections initiation session, okay, and it could help someone identify the user's IP address, and that could possibly reveal their location. Obviously, we don't want that, but what's nice about it is WebRTC did implement and create something that the user can use in order to negate that. Okay, and it's in the turn function as a mechanism that suppresses the user's IP address until they confirm a connection. All right, so they basically have the choice before they accept a connection, whether they want to expose that IP or not by accepting the connection. I mean, you would think that a user would be only accepting connections from people that they're anticipating so that their location and IP address would be relatively safe. Alright, so you can see there it gives the user the opportunity to decline a call or cancel a call and keep the information concealed. And then the second was a vulnerability here in the sessions initiation protocol approach. So SIP messages are sent in plain text. Alright, so when they're sent over, it could allow an attacker to sit on the line of communication and play as the middle guy and listen to what's going on and pick up. Alright, so that attack can occur. Attacks that can occur here are man-in-the-middle attacks and packet sniffing attacks. Alright, so you have to watch out for that. You want to make sure that you're staying up to date with things that are coming out with your browser and WebRTC if you're utilizing it a lot for work or for things along that nature. Okay, so in conclusion, I like the features and the functions that WebRTC has. It does provide a viable and reliable avenue for instant and quick communication and engagement. Alright, it is real time and it's peer-to-peer, which is great because peer-to-peer interactions with the consumer in general are evolving quickly right now. So I think that WebRTC in this platform is going to have a big void or gap that it could continue to fill and provide a platform for consumers and professionals alike. Alright, so some security flaws do exist, but a lot of the security flaws can be offset by active user engagement and concern about their system, okay, about what they're doing and about how they're doing it. Alright, and then the last thing I'd like to wrap it up on is the layered technology. It creates it difficult for hackers to attack. Okay, it just creates more walls, creates more obstacles, alright, and it takes more time for them to accomplish what they're wanting to accomplish. So all in all, I like the concept of WebRTC. I think I learned quite a bit about it from this project with it. I've used it now, and I think that I will continue to use it. So thank you guys, and have a good one.